The 2021 M1 iPad Pro is Apple's latest tablet that offers professional-grade features while maintaining its sleek and lightweight design. The M1 iPad Pro is designed for those who need a device for work or school, but prefer a tablet over a laptop. In this video, we'll explore the new features of the 2021 iPad Pro and if it offers any advantages over its predecessors. It's clear with this device, Apple is aiming at professionals, but can it replace your laptop? Can it do all your work tasks? Is it pro enough? The M1 iPad Pro features professional-grade features and is designed for those that are looking to replace their laptop with a tablet. But can it really do so? Apple has created the most powerful iPad ever. Compared to last year's blazing fast model with the A12Z Bionic, this 2021 iPad Pro is 30 to 40% faster across the board and more capable than ever before. However, after watching WWDC for what Apple had in store for iPads, iPad OS, it became clear that their goal was never a laptop replacement. Rather, they wanted an add-on which would complement laptops and computers where necessary tasks are done like word processing or editing photos, video clips, etc., but not replace them entirely. Not that it looks any different, but the 2021 iPad Pro is actually thicker and can now be paired with a white version of the Magic Keyboard. The most significant change to this model, though, cannot be seen at all. The new M1 chip will make these tablets run much faster than before. Apple has given the iPad Pro a huge spec overhaul, making an already powerful device absolutely insane for a tablet. Both the 11-inch and 12.9-inch versions now come with the M1 processor, the same chip that powers the latest MacBook Pro, Air, and 24-inch iMac. They also allow for up to 16 GB of RAM, 2 TB of storage, as well as a USB 4, Thunderbolt 4 connection. The larger 12.9-inch comes with a mini LED Liquid Retina XDR display. All these upgrades make the M1 iPad pretty future-proof, if you believe that's worth the investment. The new mini LED display in the 12.9-inch iPad Pro is something to behold. With 10,000 individually controlled zones and a total of 2,596 local dimming zones, you can be sure that will catch your eye. The new mini LED display on Apple's latest tablet device packs quite a punch when compared to other tablets out there, boasting an impressive number for its individual LEDs at just over 10,000. This translates into some pretty intense lighting effects when viewing and creating HDR content. In comparison, Apple's 32-inch Pro Display XDR costs $5,000, and that's without a stand, and has 576 dimming zones. The new iPad Pro is a top-tier display, with the same color gamut as Apple's Pro monitor, and able to hit nearly identical brightness levels of 1600 nits in peak mode or 1000 nits sustained across its 10.5-inch screen size. You can be confident that your videos and photos will look just like they should on any device, only better. The key difference here between this model and other iPads, it has HDR compatibility for viewing films with high contrast ratios, which make colors pop out even more brilliantly than ever before. High resolution and color accuracy makes this the perfect companion for professionals and consumers alike. There is, however, the issue of blooming, which is somewhat unavoidable due to the display being backlit. But in my use case and experience with the tablet so far, it's very minimal and not remotely noticeable in real-world use. For instance, if you're viewing something on a black background and have a very bright object in the front, you'll notice a glowing halo around the object. It's very noticeable on still images, but with video, very much less so. In my opinion, the blooming being the only downside of mini LED far outweighs that of OLED's burn-in issues, shorter lifespan, and only 500 nits peak brightness. Basically, not that great in sunlight. Don't get me wrong, both technologies are great and are equally stunning to look at, but in terms of longevity, I put my money on something that lasted longer. You can see side by side on an older LCD panel against the XDR panel on the M1 iPad Pro just how vast the differences are, and there's no question that this is truly a great display. There are many rumors floating around the next MacBook Pro. It's rumored Apple will bring mini LED technology, which could give them a major edge in laptop screens. But honestly, I feel like this display would make more sense on an iPad first and foremost a media consumption device, than as an addition to laptops meant for productivity. But then again, there are those who create content, and the addition of mini LED would be of great benefit in terms of workflow. Apple's latest iPad Pro has a lot of cool features. You can hook up the tablet and mirror your screen with an external monitor or TV just like last year's model. Sadly though, you're limited to viewing a weird letterbox version of what's on the main screen, which limits the feature severely for most purposes in my opinion. In addition, there are some apps like LumaFusion where using it as full screen mode works out great because they allow you to see the video preview window at upscaled resolutions without needing two displays. But otherwise, all other applications seem lackluster when compared against being able to use both screens simultaneously instead of just being mirrored. The 2021 iPad Pro has a major upgrade with the M1 chip, which is overkill for a tablet. It also comes with plenty of power that can't be found in any other device on the market today. Thanks to the M1, you can finally get your iPad Pro with 2 TB of storage and 16 GB of RAM. Not only will this allow you to upload thousands of photos using an SD card reader or backup footage from a high-res camera, but it also means that creatives won't have any trouble connecting their devices' Thunderbolt ports. All these upgrades make this tablet considerably faster than its predecessors. However, with all this power comes the ceiling: the applications. Apple at the time only allowed apps to run at a limited 5 GB of RAM. This limits the performance of what the M1 iPad is truly capable of. Recently, however, Apple has lifted this limitation and has increased the RAM usage. Now we'll just have to wait for the app developers to catch up. Lightroom is pretty fleshed out and capable enough just like the full desktop version. Importing and exporting files, however, seems to be throttled by the 5 gig limitation. However, Photoshop seems to see the biggest case. A lot of features are missing, such as most of the filters, the pen tool, smart objects, and even cropping and resizing documents. Being a Photoshop user for many years now, it was quite limiting and disappointing to use the iPad version. Something that would take me seconds without thinking to do on the desktop version takes me a good minute to do on the app version. While still usable in a pinch, I'd like to see a more robust version now that the 5 gig limitation has been lifted, quite possibly even a full version. Editing videos on LumaFusion sees no major difference other than faster exporting times and, from what I can tell, better scrubbing through the timeline when you have a bunch of text and transitions. There were hopes that a full or even mobile version of Final Cut Pro or Premiere would make its way to the iPad now that it has the performance to back it up, but we have no word on that as of yet. The iPad Pro has never been more capable device of editing photos, but you'll not be able to take full advantage. This means that even if Lightroom and Photoshop is just about there for standard photo editing, serious retouching won't happen on the iPad Pro until we see some big changes in the software. Apple's newest iPad Pro has the guts of a powerful laptop, so surely iOS would follow suit with an update that unleashed all this power, right? Well, that's what we all thought when it was announced, but were left surely disappointed during Apple's WWDC 2021 conference when no major improvement was coming to iPadOS 15. Ever since the 2021 iPad Pro was announced, tech enthusiasts have been speculating of a total overhaul of Apple's tablet OS that would allow new iPads to take full advantage of their robust hardware, perhaps even running macOS. 2 months ago at WWDC 2021, however, it became clear that this wasn't in store with the latest iOS update, iOS 15, coming later this year. Hopes and dreams of fully utilizing the insane capability of the M1 iPad was left in disappointment. With that said, there are some major improvements coming in the latest update to the iPad, the first being universal control. This will allow you to use your Mac to control a nearby iPad and even drag and drop files between the two operating systems without any sort of setup or secondary app. Unlike Sidecar that allows users to use the iPad as secondary display, this is totally different. Both devices are required to be on the same iCloud account and will use Apple's handoff technology to discover a nearby device and start sharing. This is a really innovative and neat feature that would allow creatives to work on a photo on the iPad and seamlessly continue on their desktop, or even draw on the iPad and drag that over to their video edit on their Mac. Multitasking has also been improved, which is a huge upgrade than its current iteration. Right now we have a split view, but the apps have to be on the dock and you have to drag it open to see both apps side by side. If you want a new app, you'd have to close the whole thing down and redo it. With the new update, you can do this on the fly and with any app anywhere it's located. Simply touching a new button, represented by ellipses, will bring up a new control that'll allow full screen, split screen, and side by side for any app. You can also just drag and drop apps on top of each other to open them up side by side. This will make it more intuitive and make switching between apps a lot easier. Lastly, we have an improved Files app, where one of the biggest problems is simply managing your files. Some file formats aren't supported, and there's no progress bar when transferring your files. All of this will change, and we get a more support for different formats, and finally a progress bar, and sorting files by type, size, and date. Right off the bat, I had hoped for some major improvements to make use of these fancy new hardware capabilities. But after diving into it and running through my usual use case scenarios like Photoshop, minor video editing, and content consumption, it feels like another step forward in terms of specs, but not enough attention is paid to warrant a prosumer device. The 2021 iPad Pro is one of the most powerful tablets ever released. With the all-new M1 chip, up to 16 gigs of RAM, and Thunderbolt support that lets you edit photos and videos on the go, no matter where you are in the world, this device has a lot going for it. The only downside, it's still not quite enough in terms of application and OS limitations. The M1 iPad Pro has the power to be a laptop replacement, but it falls short in some key areas. The M1 is up to date and provides good performance with handling tasks like photo and video editing smoothly. However, MacBooks have more robust storage options that outshines iPads by double or even quadruple. To top it off, full-fledged applications like Photoshop, Final Cut, and Mac OS is simply hard to justify. However, the M1 iPad is future-proof. We'll just have to wait and see what Apple has in store for us. In case you missed it, you can watch my M1 iPad unboxing video where I take you through all the features, setup, and use cases. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all the latest videos. Are you using an iPad? If so, what do you mainly use it for? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.